channel today, and we are doing a brand new Sims 4 Create a Sim video today. And so today we are back better than ever with a brand new video with a brand new story. But in this case, I'm going to talk about a game that I've been literally obsessed with for the past year and a half, and that game is called BitLife. If you do not know what this game is all about, it's basically a text-based simulation game for both Android and iPhone, and it's so much fun, so addicting that it literally is so unpredictable that you just don't know what's going to happen next. And just recently, a couple days ago, the team of BitLife added the generation feature to the Android, and I'm an Android user, and I'm all about generation, legacies, like family-oriented stuff. And the fact that they added that to the Android, the most wanted requested feature to the Android, makes me so happy because I've been playing it nonstop for the past couple of days. And just recently I was a little bit inspired playing through my generations and see what I could do on how I can make the family interesting. And I got to 3 generations, and I got the O'Neill family, or the O'Neill legacy, and I wanted to kind of recreate them in The Sims on how I would think they would look like in The Sims based off what, I've been playing them for the past couple of days. And so I'm going to be talking about Buster O'Neill because he is technically the first randomized child that was randomized and I was playing with for the past 57 years of his life. And until then, so on and so forth, to Gen 2, Gen 3, and then after that, non-existent. So for Buster O'Neill, he was a character when I was playing him, and he had a very unique style to him where he didn't really have the best childhood because his parents kept on having children after children after children, even though they didn't technically want children because they were just the people who were in their 40s. Technically, Buster's father was 42 and his mother was 25 when they had Buster, but after a while, they went on cruises, they went on holiday. It was the whole thing, and one thing led to another. More kids became to be born. Not a fun time, I know. But Buster was born on April 24th, and he was a tortoise. So if you're a tortoise, comment down below. I would love to know. But as I kind of moved on and played a little bit more of his life, I discovered that he is very ambitious and very knowledgeable when it comes to his studies. And so I had him really study and work hard in his academic career. And once he actually graduated high school, he was able to get not technically a scholarship. His parents didn't pay, so he actually took out a student loan and was studying physiology or psychology actually. And then he actually joined the Broadcasting Club, the Honor Society, and then the Web Design Club. 3 clubs and studying psychology in college is quite a lot, and he could do it. He definitely did it for sure, and he was very I'm gonna do it all and see what happens, and so he did. But a little bit after a while, towards his senior year of university, he met this girl named Becky Crunk Nix. And she actually graduated the same year that he did, but she actually got the mathematic degree, which is very interesting. She's a very unique character where when she thinks of something, she goes after it and achieves it all. And her parents didn't really approve of us at the first, but after they kind of got to know him a little bit better, they kind of warmed up to him, went to holiday parties, and kind of really, was like, you're part of the family now, Buster. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. And one thing led to another, they were dating, and that was kind of nice. And after they kind of graduated from university, he went on to medical school because he was like, hey, why not go ahead and pursue a new career or a higher paying job? And so he went to medical school on a full ride scholarship, which is super amazing. His parents were pretty proud of him when they got the news about that. And when he was able to get into medical school, and again, he is very ambitious when it comes to community, knowledge, and everything under the sun. So he actually decided to join the chess club and the photography club, but also he decided to go ahead and get a part-time job as a lab assistant towards his professor, as technically an apprentice, I would say. So it kind of helped him in his favor when it came to the medical side of his profession. And the photography was just something where he just had a little side hustle where he could express his emotions through photos. And then chess was just something that he just randomly just picked up when he was just there and was like, hey, this seems interesting. But after he kind of, graduated from medical school, he was able to kind of get closer and closer to Becky. And I'm kind of scrolling through right now to see what happened. Oh yeah, that's right. So he didn't propose to Becky until a little bit later in his life, where he was still in medical school. He actually, let's see here, what can I read? So at age 26, he was saying that Becky and him were been together for 5 years, and he was able to become the president of the photography club. And then afterwards, he got Becky pregnant, or Becky got pregnant, and it was his child. And so they had a kid a year later named Anna O'Neill, which is very crazy because you're a medical student and you already have a kid. And so at age 26, he had a kid named Anna O'Neill. And then Becky, a year later, Becky proposed to Buster and was like, "Hey, we've been together for 6 years. Let's get married." And he was like, "Sure, why not? We've been together for this long. We've known each other for a while." And the timing just seemed right because they had a kid together and they were about to graduate, or he was about to graduate medical school, get a good job in the medical field. It was just the right time. And so a little bit afterwards, his father actually died from Alzheimer's disease, which is very, very sad. And he didn't really know how to really live on after that when it came to understanding how to be a good father figure at such a young age, because his father was like 42 when he had Buster, and Buster at this time was 28 and didn't really know the ins and outs of being a parent. So he was like kind of going through trial and error on what to do for his daughter. But then later in that year, Becky got pregnant again, and they had a daughter named Natalie O'Neill, which will be the next sim that I'll be creating after Anna, which you're seeing as of right now in this current moment, which is super cool. But other than that though, about 2 years later, or a year later, Buster actually graduated from medical school, which is super amazing. He was done with his other lab assistant career. Then he got an interview. Oh gosh, my throat. I'm going through puberty. It's a sad, sad thing. But he got an interview at the Focus Insurance Company as a junior psychiatric position, which is kind of nice, earning $79,000 a year. Wild to me. That's a lot of money. And then after that, Becky got pregnant again, and they decided to go ahead and have another kid. But in that same year, they got married. They got married at age 31. Becky had the kid, which was named Tyler, which will be the next sim after Natalie, which you're seeing as of right now, who I'm creating. So going a little bit out of order, but that's okay. But when they had Tyler, it was like technically his first son being born in the legacy, and it was really, really nice to have that, sense of, I don't know, carrying on the generation after him. And he thought he was like done having kids after that. Little did he know, Becky was pregnant again with their fourth child, and it was to the point where, he was like, I'm kind of done with kids. I don't want to have any more kids, but I want to teach my kids the right of way. Like Buster, ever since his dad died, he had like this mindset of like, he had the kid, he had more kids and more kids after that. But the one thing that his father told him was to never really give up on your dreams and always focus on what matters the most, and don't let anyone else, never let anyone else destroy what makes you happy, if that makes any sense. And so like he kind of like that kind of stuck in his mind, and he kept on telling his kids like, go forth your dreams and always believe in yourself no matter what people say. And I feel like that's what Buster always wanted to be when he was like got married and got out of school and had kids. And like now that he has kids, like he can tell these things, and even his grandkids, which is like even better. And so a little bit afterwards, when like they had all four kids and they got married and stuff like that, a couple of years later, around when Buster was about 45 years old, he was kind of a little bit curious because he did buy a big giant modern house in the hills, and he kind of like saw some cameras going around in the house and was realizing that maybe this is not the best choice. But he saw that Becky was kind of flirting and kind of doing some extra naughty things to the pool boy. It's like kind of scary. And so basically Becky cheated on Buster with the pool boy, and I think also the gardener, whatever. But when he found that out, he confronted Becky afterwards when he got home from work, and she kind of she told the truth on what happened. And little after that, a year later, they got divorced, finalized the divorce, and went on after that. And so it got to the point where Buster was like, okay, I have 4 kids, I'm divorced, I'm still in a good position at my job as a doctor, basically. And he didn't know what to do as a sense of happiness. And Tyler, his son, his only son, basically kind of noticed that he wasn't feeling very well. He was kind of like going into like a deep, dark depression and was kind of letting go of like himself. And he only wanted to see his father really happy. And so he told him to like get out there and like meet people and be social like you used to do back when you were in high school and, you know, college, and like you were really good at that. And he was like, okay, I can do it. I can definitely do that. So he kind of went over to the bar, or the local bar, and he met this girl at age 50, literally half a decade. Crazy. But half a century. Yeah, half a century. Anyway, when he turned 50, he went to the local bar and started drinking bourbon, or some juice, technically. And he met this girl named Megan Springer, and literally it was love at first sight. And it was like super cool when I found that out. And so he was like, you know what? I don't know you that well. Well, we've only been like seeing each other for a couple months, and like it's like, you know, you're comfortable with me and my kids. And so he was like, will you marry me? And she said yes, of course. And he called Megan beautiful. And, you know, when he tried to marry Megan, he asked her to send a prenup. She refused. He tried again, and she said yes, literally a year later. And so they went on a honeymoon to Cancun, Mexico, which is super nice. And Buster changed his name to Buster Springer O'Neill because he just wanted to have it hyphenated, just because, why not? And so a little bit afterwards, he was going through a lot. His health was okay, but after he like turned 54, that's when something didn't go right at the doctor's office. His doctor basically told him like he was suffering from yellow fever, and he only had like a couple of like years to live. Didn't really technically give him like an exact timeline on when he was going to, like, you know, die or pass away. He just said, you have a couple years left. And so it was basically just like not a ticking time bomb, but more like on getting your ducks in a row and like trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And so it got to the point where he was like, I'm going to live in the moment. I'm going to travel the world. He actually, he didn't technically retire from his job. He was still on working as a psychiatric doctor, which is really cool. And so afterwards, when he turned 57, was the year that he died, which is very sad. And he was thinking, maybe this is my time, this is my thing, and that was okay. And so afterwards, it was to the point where thinking, maybe my life has ended. And that's okay. And after that, I actually was like, let's continue on with our next child for our next generation, see how far we can get. And so I actually continued the legacy with Aria O'Neill, and she is actually going to be the next like set of like generation that I will be creating. And there's a lot of like happening here with Aria that I will explain in a different video, because I will be creating every single generation that has happened so far, like in my BitLife, you know, playthrough. So like if you guys want to like play with, you know, Buster's timeline, Aria's timeline, and like the other generations, by all means, they'll be up on the gallery for you guys to download one by one. I will actually just tweet out whenever I upload them so you guys know where they are at, basically. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and actually wrap up this voiceover right here. I really hope you guys much enjoyed it. I hope you actually did enjoy it, because it's something that I don't normally do as a creative sim, where I don't really recreate characters from like a different game. But in this, like for this thing, I was like truly inspired about like BitLife and the generation update, and like how I can really incorporate it with The Sims, and like being able to do that is like super cool. So I want to do more of these, because I want to do like a BitLife controls my sim, or like a BitLife controls my day. Like, I don't know. I love BitLife and I love The Sims. They're basically the same but different. So yeah. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, as always, of your thoughts and suggestions on the next future BitLife or Sim videos. And I will see you guys all in the very next video. Bye!